at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Mastry.
And I'm Erin Sullivan. Let's get right into our top 6 headlines at 6.
We begin with Governor Pillen appointing former Husker football standout Joel Makovicka to the Nebraska Board of Regents today. He'll serve out the rest of Elizabeth O'Connor's term. She resigned in January. The seat is up for election this year.
Breaking tonight, law enforcement narrowing their search for the bodies of a Stromsburg couple. Police think Hannah Neville, who was 8 months pregnant, and her husband, Roberto Tanner, were murdered. Deputies searched a remote area of Saunders County today. Records showed Tanner had lived in the area. 2 people, Tanner's half-brother and his wife, are in custody for their suspected murders.
Almost a decade after OPPD decided to shut down its nuclear plant in Fort Calhoun, that massive decommissioning process is wrapping up. The utility said low natural gas prices and rising operational costs made the plant just too expensive to keep running. Crews expect to finish the decommissioning later this year.
Also breaking tonight, President Trump signing a $1.2 trillion funding package ending the partial government shutdown. The measure funds the Department of Homeland Security for 2 weeks while lawmakers negotiate potential changes to ICE.
Omaha's City Council approves a plan to demolish a shopping center at 46th and California and replace it with luxury apartments and retail space. Developer wants $9 million in taxpayer funds to help with the project.
With the help of a knee brace, I am confident that I can compete on Sunday.
Alpine ski legend Lindsey Vonn will compete in her 5th Winter Games at the age of 41, despite rupturing her ACL in a recent crash. Vonn says she feels stable when she skis with a brace.
That's pretty incredible.
Okay.